Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Friday, the 2nd of February 2024. A long time no talk. It's been, nearly a month now since the last video. I was very seriously sick for about 3 or 4 days, and after that, very under the weather. Turns out my thyroid isn't working properly, so now that we know that's good, we can get that sorted out. Yeah, very worrying and serious situation. But hopefully, now we know we can get amended, and then it'll be all good going forward. But so in the last month, quite a few things being missed by me. Obviously, you probably already know about them. Transfer window has come and gone. What did we sign? We signed one left winger permanently from Morecambe. More on that later. Obafemi on loan, Tanganga on loan. We obviously had the unveiling of John Belson Way, the official naming. Although, is it really official until you see it on the Google Maps and stuff like that? But yeah, so we wait to see that. But yeah, let's just get into it. We're going to talk about the youth team, the under-18s, reaching the quarter-finals of the FA Youth Cup in tonight's game that they beat Coventry, and we're going to preview tomorrow's game away at Hull. So here we go. We're going to start off with this. So obviously the transfer window closed on the 1st of February, on Thursday. Not on the 31st, but on the 1st. And here we go. So we have Millwall head coach Joe Edwards asked for his verdict on January transfer window activity. This is from the londonnewsonline.co.uk, the South London Press's online website. Joe Edwards has described himself as happy with Millwall's January transfer window activity. The Lions made one permanent signing in the month, paying around £300,000 for Morecambe winger Adam Mayer earlier this week. And the Championship side also did loans for Burnley striker Michael Obafemi and Tottenham defender Japhet Tanganga. Asked for his assessment of the business done by Millwall, head coach Edwards said, "I'm happy with it. I knew that it was going to be a tricky window, a messy window for any team, but particularly when you're not a team that kind of throws money around willy-nilly. It's definitely not an easy market, and we were never going to be that, start throwing unreasonable amounts of money at small problems. If one or two more had been there, then I've been open to adding one or two more, but I'm not in a position where the window is closed and I'm left light in our squad." If you look at our squad in recent weeks, then there have been some injuries and players coming back in the next 2 or 3 weeks. By the time you add Jaff, Michael and Adam to our squad as new additions, but then you get back Tom Bradshaw, Domo Maku, Ryan Leonard and Sean Hutchinson, then the squad in terms of size is good to go again. There are people, even the likes of Hutch and Adomu, that when they both hit good form in that Christmas period as a team, we hit good form as well in terms of results. They also hit good form without playing or having much opportunity under me. There are still players in this squad that I'm keen to see more of and get better out of. So there you go. Obviously, Joe Edwards, the coach, not the manager, and he's not really involved in the signings. To some extent, to most of the extent, he isn't. So yeah, this signing from Morecambe, the Adam Mayer one, that's interesting. Now, why is that interesting? Because I think Ryan Longman was signed on a loan with the potential to maybe bring him in permanently. I don't know if they agreed a fee for that, but when you're signing this kid who's also a left side winger, you would think that means Ryan Longman, they're not interested in signing him in permanently. Like, he's got an injury now anyway, hasn't he? So you would think that they moved on Adam Mayer because they want confident about Ryan Longman. So we could expect to see him go back to Hull at the end of his loan. Moving on to this from southernnews.co.uk. So obviously we've had the transfers this week, final moments of the January transfer window. Now we get to talk about them. The players give their interviews and all of that stuff, and the press are talking about it. This is from southernnews.co.uk. The shirt's there for him. Millwall boss explains how a young winger Adam Mayer could make immediate impact. The 18-year-old from Morecambe proved to be the Lions' third and final signing of the window. Joe Edwards is prepared to give exciting prospect Adam Mayer game time and insists the new man can make an immediate impact. The 19-year-old signed permanently from Morecambe earlier this week, becoming the Lions' third and final signing of the January transfer window after Japhet Tanganga and Michael Obafemi both joined on loan. Mayer will be suspended for tomorrow's game at Hull City after reaching the threshold for yellow cards at League 2 Morecambe, where he plays 67 games, but he will be available for the televised trip to next Sunday to Coventry City. Speaking in his pre-match press conference, Edwards explained how the deal was done, why he thinks Mayer has a Millwall feel to his game that could help his side. He said he's a young player who the club have been keeping an eye on for a long time. Before I joined the club, in my England role, he was a player I was aware of as well. He's on the radar. As soon as I first joined and Alex first told me he'd been on the radar, Millwall was something I was keen for us to progress with. I knew he was a good player. The club obviously felt he was a really exciting prospect, innit? Aside from two we've done so far in the window, Japhet Tanganga and Michael Obafemi, Adam's a different type where as much as you have players to strengthen it right here and now, it's important to be building for the future as well. At the age that he is, he's impressive. The amount of games he's played in the league, particularly in that level where it's very physically demanding. It's not easy for a teenager to play at that level, so he's already robust, but he's very young. It's a big step up, isn't it? So as a player that joins our squad immediately, and we take it from here as to how quickly we can bed him in. He's the same as any other player now. If he trains well and gets opportunities and earns it, the shirt's there for him. But we're more than willing to be patient. And first and foremost, help him settle in. He adds to the top end of the pitch, plays wide left. He's very direct runner, strong runner, good speed, very hard working as well. And as well as doing the work with pressing and recovering from one of those wider attacking positions, he's not scared to make physical contact when he gets there either. So he's a nice fit for keeping that Millwall feel. He's got an aggressive and rough nature when he has to defend, but certainly a big attacking threat with his speed. Edwards believes Mayer has the right mentality to succeed and isn't overly concerned by the youngster's habit of racking up yellow cards, with 10 in the league already this season, more than anyone in Millwall's squad. He said, I had an awareness of him as a player, but when I just watching clips and seeing what he could do on the pitch, when I had the opportunity to meet him and speak to him in person, I was even more impressed and more convinced that as a character, what he is now, but then also what he's going to be as he continues to mature. I was even more convinced of how much a good fit and how well he is equipped to step up to this level. On the bookings he added, it's the same with any player that picks up a lot of cards and ends up getting suspended. If there's one or two in there where it's maybe unnecessary fouls or dissents involved, you always want to encourage players to get fewer cards because it causes suspensions, which is a problem. But at the same time, as a player of a young age like him, where his timing is slightly off, but he's trying to make tackles and trying to make physical contact, I made it very clear we want to be able to have a different look about us when we got the ball, but we definitely don't want to lose that tough, aggressive nature and style about us. So when you're recruiting players, it's very important that you don't recruit players that are good going in one direction, and when it comes to the real basic and honest parts of the game, they're not ready for it, and he's certainly ready for it. But if yellow cards are a bit of collateral damage at this point, I'd rather than urging players to stop making tackles, so put it that way. Tom Bradshaw and Sean Hutchinson are back in training, and the former is particularly in contention to make the matchday squad on Saturday after his hamstring injury. Edwards was also asked if fans might see more from Obafemi after his 15-minute debut off the bench in a 1-1 draw with Preston last week. The Lions head coach said the stage of the game we brought him on against Preston was kind of us saying that was the limit we were happy to expose him to. But he was coming through a messy week or two. He wasn't coming back from an injury, so the fact that he was able to get those minutes under his belt in a proper game, and now he's had a full week with us, he's certainly in a much better position than he was in the Preston game. So yeah, maybe more from him. The darts tournament that Edwards mentioned in his press conference last week is still in full swing, with Cup captain Hutchinson among those in the semi-finals. The Millwall boss has enjoyed the competition and how it has brought the squad together. I think Hutch is a semi-finalist, and that's as much as I know at the moment, but I keep hearing noises from the canteen. Edward said since last week they started a league to run alongside it. I think the lads that have been knocked out were feeling a bit left out. So now we have a Premier League and a Championship. There's a lot going on, but it's great because every time you walk through our canteen, even 2 hours after training is finished, it's packed out. There's loads of them in there. They're having a good time and giving each other sticks. So in terms of the spirit of the group, if anything, it's only enhanced it. It's a great place to be at the moment on the training ground. So there you go, Dart Fever, part of the was it Luke Littler situations caused Dart Fever in the training ground at Millwall. Apparently you can't get a dartboard for love or money. They've sold out everywhere you look. So obviously that someone there's got one and brought it to training. So it's all fun and games until someone gets a dart in the eye, though, isn't it? But yeah, there you go. Now moving on to this from the southernnews.co.uk. Interview with one of the other signings, Tanganga. Battling against Harry Kane on the training pitch and being coached by top level managers, Japhet Tanganga on the experiences that have left him up for the fight in Millwall. The 24-year-old is looking to make a splash at the Den after a challenging loan spell in Germany. Hello? Japhet Tanganga believes battling with Harry Kane on the training pitch and learning the game under big name manager at Tottenham Hotspur leaves him well placed to make a big impact at Millwall. The Lions secured one of the more eye-catching January deals in the Championship when they lured the Spurs defender the Den on loan until the end of the season. Tanganga boasts 50 Premier League appearances and European experience and played alongside world-class talent in North London. Since signing, he came off the bench and defeat the Queen's Park Rangers before starting against Preston North End last Saturday. So he hasn't played in the game that we've won and he hasn't kept a clean sheet. Okay, cool. The 24-year-old is now looking to become a fixture in Mill's team and get his career back on track, and he feels confident that being able to deal with the challenge after his experiences at Tottenham. He told News at 10, "You play against the best to try and match yourself up and see if you're able to deal with the best. And there's things I've added to my game due to the way I've had to defend against Harry Kane and Son Heung-min that I can bring into my footballing ability. Definitely it's been very helpful for my growth working under great managers and playing with great players. Having played under Mauricio Pochettino, Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte, all of whom have managed both Chelsea and Tottenham, Tanganga has received advice from some of the most high-profile managers in football. How young I was working under those managers, I would almost have to be a fool not to take life lessons and football lessons from these guys," Tanganga said. They've worked with some of the best players, and for me to have that opportunity to try and gain some of the knowledge that they've give to some of those world-class players is amazing, and I definitely took things from their time at Spurs. On Mourinho, the iconic former Manchester United and Real Madrid manager who was sacked at Roma last month, he added, "Oh, he's a very nice guy and almost like a father sometimes with how he'll come across. But he's a very good person. He looks after your well-being on and off the pitch, and he's a really nice person and a top guy, even if it doesn't seem like that." And on Pochettino, Tanganga said, "Oh, he's a very good manager who's very keen on detail and character. A very good coach and person, and someone who, if you had any issues, you can go and speak to him, and he has great knowledge from the players he's played with and managed. It was great when he handed me my debut in professional football, and I'll forever remember that." For all of the positives he's had in his career, Tanganga has experienced a difficult year with limited football, injuries, and a loan spell at German club Augsburg, where he didn't make a single appearance. Looking back on the challenge, the defender said, "I think in football it's a lot of things. It's not just one thing. Obviously I came over there injured and they still took me on. The manager was sacked and a new one came in and he had his ideologies and he didn't favour me in the team, but that's not the problem. That's how football goes. I was just keeping myself ready for when an opportunity arises when I was able to be involved, and unfortunately it didn't. But I wanted to be ready and fit to maybe find somewhere else in January for an opportunity if it presented itself, which it did. Now I'm here at Millwall, involved in 2 games more than I did at Augsburg, which is progress." Despite many factors not going his way, Tanganga said he is always willing to reflect on the experience and learn from it. He added, "Oh, you definitely have to look at yourself. Obviously coming in injured and didn't help, but you have to look at yourself. I could have done more in training, could have pushed a bit more. Definitely I look at myself in that situation, but it's not just one thing, it's a multitude of things of why maybe it didn't work. I wasn't playing, but it was nice to learn a new culture, learn a new language, and Augsburg were very good to me in terms of how they treated me. It didn't work out on the pitch, but off the pitch, it was a great group of players, great staff, and they made it really welcoming for me, just as it has been at Millwall. Tanganga was convinced to come to the Den by Joe Edwards, who has worked with previously in the England youth setup. Edwards' pitch regarding what he wanted the Lions to become on the pitch instantly sold the Tottenham man. He showed me the style of play he wanted Mill to go forward with, and that's the style I like to play in, so instantly sold it to me, and I knew this was the place for me to go to the next 4 or 5 months to play some football, Tanganga said. Growing up at Tottenham has been a big part of the philosophy of playing with the ball, and I've had managers who like that style as well. He's now looking to take the ball by the horns at Millwall and remind everyone of his abilities. He said, the boys have made me feel very welcome. I've been involved with 2 of the games and been part of the squad. I feel settled in. I think we just have to do as well as we can. We're not far off the playoffs. It just takes consistency and making sure we take every game as it comes and try and win every single one. But definitely there's still things to be aimed at this season. I think wherever I see myself is about how I apply myself and making sure I work hard and leaving the uncontrollables to God and see where he takes me. So there you go. Like he said, he's on loan till the end of the season, and it sounds like that's it for him. Like, this is just a loan move because he hasn't played for a year or half a year, and he wants to play. So he obviously thinks that he's better than this level. He's better than Millwall, and he dropped down to this level because he thought he'd be guaranteed to play. So there you go. Now, moving on to an interview with the other loan signing of this January transfer window, Obafemi. So this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, South London Press's online website. I love the Mill chant. I can't wait to hear their song for me. Michael Obafemi on Lions loan switch. Michael Obafemi's target at Millwall is a simple one. Playing matches and scoring goals, achieving those aims, especially the latter, will ensure all parties are happy with his loan stay in SE16. The Lions signed the 23-year-old Burnley striker last week, and he made his debut as a late substitute in Saturday's 1-1 draw against Preston at the Den. Obafemi sustained a hamstring injury playing for Republic of Ireland against Gibraltar in June that required surgery. Must have been a grade 3, that. And ensured he missed the opening months of the Premier League season. A 3-inch scar lies below his right knee is a reminder of that setback. Damn, bruh. All I did was I went to shoot and the defender blocked the shot, Obafemi told the South London Press. I felt a burning sensation down the side of my leg and I tried to carry on but I couldn't. The tendon was literally hanging on the bone by a thread and I had to get that repaired with screws, and thankfully the surgery went well. Oh, it's been a difficult period leading into pre-season and the season. I wanted to make sure I was 100% fit to show Burnley that I wanted to be in the team. So that injury was a big knock that ended things, and I came back late in October or the beginning of November. And I got 30 minutes against Arsenal, and it's a bit tough to get minutes. I know what I have to do to prove I'm a Premier League player. If that means dropping down the league and playing football, which is what I need to do, then I've got to do it. It's no problem, really. Ipswich Town were also interested in Obafemi. He was born in Dublin before his family relocated to Chingford and then Hornchurch. Millwall head coach Joe Edwards has talked about the former Southampton and Swansea player adding explosiveness and running power to his frontline options. Obafemi had a 13-minute cameo against the North End and showed frustration when his electric pace only narrowly failed to make the most of a forward pass. If that ball was 2 yards further forward, then it's game over, he said. Coming on is different to playing a full match, but I really enjoyed it. I love it when the fans go, Mill. I absolutely love it. Even when I played against Millwall and I've heard it, I thought, what the hell's that? And fair play, because you can hear it on the pitch and it kind of puts you off a little bit. And it helps with the home with orange for sure. What I'm waiting for is my goal chant when I score. I want to hear what that's going to be. Obafemi's last championship campaign ended in silverware as Vincent Kompany's Clarets won the title, finished on 101 points. The former Manchester City defender wanted Obafemi at the start of the season, but terms could not be agreed with Swansea. Instead, the attacker joined on loan at the end of January, scoring twice in 12 substitute appearances, with a permanent transfer triggered on July 1st. It's my first promotion and it felt amazing. I had family there on the day, said Obafemi. Kompany's an amazing manager. He's got some ideas from Pep, who was with at the end of his career at Man City. He's a fantastic coach, and we're going to see that at a bigger club one day. I believe that anyway. If I could be a manager, I want to be like him. You've got to run your arse off if you want to play Premier League or under a manager like him. You have to train well every week. And if you run for the team and show your commitment, then I feel like you would get a look in. There were claims by the then Swansea boss Russell Martin that Obafemi had lacked focus after Burnley were unsuccessful in their initial attempts to acquire him. He scored 15 goals in 51 matches for the Welsh outfit, 32 of those starts, but Obafemi has a different take. He responded. I feel like things were taken out of proportion. Martin said my head was turned. But I was still committed to Swansea. I didn't say that I didn't want to play for the club, or say if I don't go there, the next is going to happen. I didn't do any of that. I was content where I was. I was happy. If it happened, then it happened. And it didn't, then it didn't. And it didn't happen. And then I went a few games without scoring, and the fans turned on me a little bit, and I expected it to happen when all this situation was going on. That's football, I guess. Things get misinterpreted. I love Russell. I have a great relationship with him and the other Swansea staff who are out Southampton with him now. I wish them all the best and hope that they feel the same way about me. Obafemi played for East London club Ryan FC as a kid before he was picked up by Watford. I was there for 3 years and then I got released, he said. I don't actually know why. They spoke to either my mum or my dad on my phone. And then they told me, and I was a bit taken aback because I was young and I didn't understand everything. I was so upset. I was distraught. I didn't even think I told anyone for ages. That's how bad I felt about it. It was Obafemi's brother Ofalabi, 29, who had also been on the Hornets books and then earned a professional deal at Leyton Orient, who helped him progress. My brother got me a try at Orient, and luckily I got in. I did well in Orient, and then Southampton come in and bought me. Obafemi became the Saints' second youngest debutant after Luke Shaw when he came on in the 82nd minute of a 1-1 draw against Tottenham in January 2018, aged 17 years and 199 days. Harry Kane, Heung-min Son and Dele Alli were all playing, said Obafemi. I remember coming onto the pitch and seemed like a video game and those adverts you used to get back in the day when the camera was following you. And I played against some exceptional people and I've got a few shirts that I've swapped. My collection isn't like Declan Rice's. He's very honoured, which is good for the memories. I played against France for Ireland and I got Camavinga's shirt. He played unbelievably. And he didn't get the ball away once. He was that good in that game. I wasn't even thinking about Mbappe's one because I already knew our centre-backs would be tapping into him. Millwall at least partially have Danny McNamara to thank for Obafemi's arrival. He sought out the advice of Lions fullback who's already been away on training camps with the senior Ireland squad without yet gaining a senior call-up. Obafemi said, Danny loves it here. He told me that the boys are class and the new manager Joe is changing the way we're playing. And it'll suit you well. And I really took that on board and now I'm here. Mill's immediate targets are conservative compared to the big spending Burnley side he joined a year ago that were looking for an instant top flight return. Consolidation will do the Lions as they look to move to a more progressive style of play under Edwards, who has previously coached at both Chelsea and Everton. Every player wants glory, but Obafemi is only concerned at this point with his football fundamentals. The main things for me is getting back a smile back on my face, which is happening already, he said. I haven't played football for so long that I wanted to get back my mass sharpness and fitness. More showing myself I can really do this. It's about playing football and scoring goals, which is inevitable. So yeah, it sounds like he had a really horrendous injury. What did he say here? He was hanging off the tendon. Where's up here? The tendon was literally hanging on the bone by a thread. I had to get that repaired with screws. So it wasn't. So it was the tendon at the bottom of his hamstring that connects to the leg, the femur. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but damn, bro, that sounds serious. So it sounds also like I don't know, if it hasn't fully repaired, that he's going to be one of those that gets injured, and it's going to be good night Vienna. He's on loan and he's not actually fit to play. But yeah, let's hope that doesn't go. Let's hope he warms himself up properly. And when he does come, because it sounds like he's going to be coming off the bench for quite a while before he can actually start a game. So yeah, let's hope he does that. Now, moving on to today's game. Millwall under-18s. This isn't a picture from the game. This is from, I think, the Barking game. Millwall under-18s see off Sky Blues in FA Youth Cup. Millwall under-18s advanced to the quarterfinals of the FA Youth Cup on Friday night as they defeated Coventry City 3-0 at the CBS Arena in round 5. Cavalli Hayward's double and Dapo Olugbodi's goal secured a safe passage into the last 8 for Larry McAvoy and Chris Perry's men. Millwall took an early lead against the Sky Blues as Hayward punished some slack Coventry defending to finish with 10 minutes on the clock. Before the frontman doubled his and the Lions tally before half-time, as he just added the gloss to a fine team move. Olugbodi then rose highest after the break to put Millwall 3-0 into the lead and to close out the tie. The Lions will face, here we go, look at this. The Lions will face either Crystal Palace or Chelsea at home in the quarter-finals, with the two London rivals set to meet on Thursday, the 8th of February. A confirmed venue, date, kick-off time and any ticket selling arrangements will be confirmed as soon as possible following the club's opponents being revealed. Well, seeing as this is a home game, the game will be played at the Den. It has to be played at the Den. That's the rules of the competition. Some clubs, the big clubs, they organise it that they can play at a smaller ground. That has to be fielding in your entry form for the competition at the start of the season. Millwall haven't done that, so the game will be played at the Den. It will be played at the Den. It's a midweek competition, which I think interesting. I don't know why. Whose idea it was? I'm gonna guess it's Coventry's, but because I don't think the people at Millwall are this smart. But to have the game on a Friday, why is that smart? Well, like I said, the game's a midweek. It's a midweek competition, so the game has to be played at 7 o'clock kickoff, Monday to Friday. But the under-18s usually play on a Saturday morning. So to have the game on a Friday night, as close as possible to the regular time when they would play, which is a Saturday morning, I think it's kind of advantageous. Well, it was advantageous for us. Rather than playing an extra game on a Tuesday or Wednesday, if you move it to the Friday and then cancel your Saturday game and use this as that week's game, it gives you 6 days to recover from the last game from Sunday to Friday, and it's all good. So we'll see the next game. Obviously, we've got a home game at the Den, quarterfinals against Palace or Chelsea. Let's be real, it's probably going to be Chelsea. They're still a formidable team in the youth setup. So we'll see how they go. But yeah. The team was Penny, Mansour, Olugbodi, Massey, Whiteman, Stevenson, Aboyle, Maggiochia, Baker, Hayward, Howland. The subs were Whitby, Preswosny, Tektas, Kirby, Vieira, Kendall, and Thomas Smith. And there you go. Hayward scored in the 10th and the 32nd minute, and Olugbodi in the 65th minute. Yeah, so good stuff. And like I said, so this is how it's shaping up now. We've had a very fortuitous draw so far. Obviously, playing either Palace or Chelsea, that's going to be a tough test. But you can see some of the big names still in it: Liverpool, Fulham, Tottenham, Bournemouth, Sheffield United, Leeds, Bristol City, Burnley. So I guess Bristol City, Burnley, maybe that would have been better. Man City, Reading. So you can see it's Sunderland, Swindon are still there. So the game has to be played by Saturday the 9th of March. But I can imagine it's going to be played probably in the last week of February. Yeah, this is very exciting. Very exciting on the back of the under-21s winning the league last year. We've now got the under-18s getting to the quarterfinals with a big game against Palace or Chelsea. And it's a home game, which is... because I don't know if you remember, last season they got drawn, I think it was the third round, to Arsenal away. And they got kind of spanked 6-0. So hopefully, with this being a home game, it's going to be give us a slight advantage and maybe help us in some way, especially if the fans get down there, especially if you get down there and you make some noise, which I think a lot of people do. Even though this is a youth game, if it's going to be Chelsea, people are still going to turn out for that. So yeah, good stuff. Now we are moving on to the big boys playing tomorrow away at Hull City. Who I don't know. This week they were linked with a move for Romain Esse. Apparently they made a bid that was rejected. Hull City. Who are they exactly? Why are they making bids for Romain Esse? And what was it? Was it like the QPR bid for Danny McNamara? Was this some kind of wind up because we're playing them this week, or was it a serious and sincere effort? I don't know. Maybe they thought he was out. Like he was out of favour because he's not been playing. Maybe that's what they thought. But so here we go. This is 11v11.com. This is the historical list of matches between Hull City and Millwall. I've sorted it so it's Hull versus Millwall. As you can see, it's absolutely fucking atrocious. We went there in 1929 and we didn't get a point until 1964, 5 games later. That was a 0-0 draw in League Division 3. We didn't win there until 1973. We had a very good record up there in the 1970s. Don't know what that was about. Probably some kind of recession in Hull. I don't know. The factory, like the local factory, shutting down or whatever. Maybe poor ownership at Old City. I don't know what happened there, but you can see from 1971 to 1977, we didn't lose. Five games in a row going up there, we didn't lose. Only one win, a 0-0, a 2-0 win, 1-1, 1-1, 0-0. So yeah, and then we immediately after that, going into the 70s, 78, and the 1980s, a disastrous streak of 7 defeats in a row. But there's a famous game. If you're old enough, you may remember it in the 2nd of May, 1988. So that would be the 87-88 season. Have you picked it up yet? If you got the drift, the game away at Hull City, a 1-0 win. Quite a famous game in Millwall's history. That was the last game of the season in promotion winning season, and yes, get the trophy on the pitch of that game. I don't know. But yeah, and then we get a few more draws and a defeat, and then we have a win in 2011. Then we have a win in 2018, a win in 2020, but that's interspersed between 2 defeats, a defeat, and another 2 defeats. We're now on 2 defeats in a row so far, 2021 and April 2023. Yeah, it doesn't look good. We haven't won 2 games in a row, and we've only won there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in, I would say, what's that, about 30 games. That's not good. That is not good. So yeah, yeah, quite disastrous. 4-1 defeat, 5-0 defeat in 1983. Some big heavy defeats. 4-1 in 1962, and a 4-0 defeat in the first game up there in April 1929. So there you have it. So what are we on? We're on the 3rd of February today. Is there a fixture that coincides with the 3rd of February? Not really. We've got late February's, and that's about it. So yes, 15th of February 1977, that was a 0-0 draw. 17th of February 1973, we won 2-0. But other than that, no, not really. So there you go. It's absolutely disastrous. Literally, was it the name of the Only Fools and Horses thing? To Hull and back. To hell and back. It's not good to travel up to Hull and come back again. Now moving on to this is whoscored.com. We're going to get a few more details. So here you go. This is the last 6 matches. They've scored 10 goals. We've scored 6. So literally a goal a game, which is our current rate of scoring. 9 yellow cards for them, 12 for us. We have lost 4, won 2, and drawn 0 over the last 6. So maybe a draw is overdue. Maybe it's time for a draw. Here's the table as it stands. They are 8th, and we are 16th. They've got 12 wins. We've got 12 defeats. They've only drawn 6 games in the league out of 28. So they're quite stingy with the draws. They've scored 42, conceded 38. And as you can see, we have scored 30, which in 29 games is about 1 goal a game. Very entertaining. Obviously, we had a little run of wins. Now we're on a run of no wins. Our last 3 games are a defeat at home to Middlesbrough, a defeat away at Queen's Park Rangers, which is up there with one of our worst performances this season, along with the Stoke game, and then a 1-1 draw at home to Preston. So let's have a look. What are we looking at? We're going to look at the home table. So Hull are 11th in the home table. They've won 6, drawn 4, lost 4. They've only conceded 15 goals at home. But if you look at the form at home, they win and lose and win and lose and win and lose. We look at Millwall's away form, we're 9th in the table so far. Again, with the 16 goals scored in 14 games, just over a goal a game. But defensively, also 16. We've won 4, drawn 5, lost 5. So there you go. Form wise, what are we on? So we are actually in better form than them. We've won 3, drawn 1, lost 2. But like I said, the 1-3 was 3 games ago. That was in terms of the 6 games. That was the first 3 games of the 6. The last 3 games of the 6 have been the 1 draw, 2 defeats. But again, here we go. In the last 6 games, averaging 1 goal a game, averaging 1 goal conceded per game, 6-4, 6 against. When you can look at Hull, they've got 8 goals scored and 11 conceded. They've won 2, only won 2, lost 4, haven't drawn. So again, they don't genuinely play for a draw, but will Millwall force them into a draw tomorrow? I don't know. Here are their matches. So we've seen the numbers, but who was it against? Well, Hull, in their last 6 games at home, including the FA Cup game against Birmingham, they've only kept 1 clean sheet. That was against Cardiff in 16th of December. They failed to score in only 1 game. That was at home to Sunderland on Boxing Day. So they seem to be able to score and concede. Last game out, they lost 2-1 to Norwich, 1-1 draw to Birmingham, 3-2 win against Blackburn, but they had a player sent off, and obviously that was on the 29th, so that was shortly after the Boxing Day game. And they lost 2-1 at home to Watford. So there you go. Now, in terms of Millwall's away form, obviously the Queen's Park Rangers game, absolute dog shit, I think. And then you go back to the 3 games where we failed to score. Away to Cardiff, we lost 1-0. Away to Stoke and away to Queen's Park Rangers. Now, Queen's Park Rangers lost 2-0. And that game and the Stoke game. So 2 of our last 3 away games have been probably the worst performances in quite some time. The Stoke and the QPR game, we had nothing going forward, absolutely nothing. If you find the place and look for the XG, I think the Queen's Park Rangers XG is 0.1, and at Stoke it was 0.2. That's how bad we were, just absolutely dire going forward. But then you go back and 2 of the best teams in the league, we scored 2 goals against Leicester and lost 3-2. And we scored, the Ipswich game was dog shit as well. But we scored against them and lost 3-1. So in our last 6 away games, we've conceded 3 goals twice, failed to score 3 times, but kept 2 clean sheets against Stoke and against Bristol City in the game that we won. So very much a mixed bag. Very much a mixed bag. Here's strengths and weaknesses for both teams and the style of play. Match forecast, which is usually a pile of shit. But this here, match facts on the right hand side. There have been under 2.5 goals scored in 7 of Mill's last 8 games. Indeed. Because we don't score and we try to keep the opposition from scoring. That's how it works. Now let's get into the predictions now. What did they predict at whoscored.com? So here we go. So we've got Hull. They got quite a few injuries. We've got injuries as well. They got 2 players out in Africa playing in the African Nations Cup. So that's helpful for us to play them at this time. Now, prediction. Fabio Carvalho's deflected second half strike was all that separated the sides when Hull last featured in championship action, as the Tigers sealed a narrow 1-0 away win against Sunderland. Yeah, they signed Carvalho. Remember the guy from Fulham? He was at Liverpool, I think. Quite a strange signing, weird signing, but he's gone there. Liam Rossini's side have enjoyed a substantial break prior to this fixture and sit 2 points behind 6th place Coventry with a game in hand. Millwall took the lead inside 5 minutes against Preston last weekend before being pegged back by a first half strike from Brad Potts. The Lions have taken just 1 point in the last 3 championship fixtures, dropping within 8 points of the relegation zone in the process. And whoscored.com predict that the result will be Hull 1, Millwall 0. Hull 1, Millwall 0. Well, what does David Prutton have to say about that? What's his prediction? This is from skysports.com. So let's have a little look. What's he got to say? How far down are we this week? There's the table. 16th we are. We're now, was it 8 points above the relegation now? 8 points above QPR. Huddersfield have sacked their manager. Will they get a new manager bound? Kind of worrying. It is kind of worrying now. We need to get to 50 points, and then I'll probably stop worrying. Where are we? Where are you? Where are you? Let's be having you. Here we go. The David Prutton of Sky Sports predicts that it will be Hull 2, Millwall 1. Yes. Can we score? I think we can score. Interesting to see that Tom Bradshaw will be back. I think he's going to start, and I think what will happen is Obafemi will probably come off the bench. Now the big thing is, how do we? A lot of criticism of Brian being that he's not the best at defending. Does Murray Wallace come in? Do we try and defend from the end and then hope to get to the point in the game where Obafemi can come on and it's still 0-0, and he can come on and make an impact with his speed? In order to do that, you'll probably need Murray Wallace on the pitch and not Joe Bryan. You can bring Joe Bryan on later, probably to ping a pass over the top to Obafemi. As far as I can remember, I think Hull's ground is quite a big pitch, so that might be advantageous for Obafemi to get on and to start running in behind the channels at the Hull goal. So I think we can score. I don't think. Can we keep a clean sheet? Probably not. So that's lending itself to both teams to score, yes. So that will be at least a 1-1. It depends how Sarkic going to play. Which Sarkic's going to turn up? What defensive pairing are we going to have? Who's going to be in defence? It's going to be being a bit shaky at times, isn't it? The defensive pairing that we play. So can we keep the clean sheet? Probably not. Will they score 2? They could do. Can we score 2? Maybe. So I'm probably siding with what he's got here, 2-1 or 2-2. So in terms of my prediction, I'll go 2-2. I'll go Hull 2, Millwall 2. A draw, just because they haven't drawn in ages, and we seem to be quite. We don't have a cutting edge. We don't have the killer instinct. So we've been drawing quite a few games. So I can see that happening. I think it's going to hold 2, Millwall 2. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.